Hey guys, Gabwell7 here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the first two videos of modding for Mordhau. What you call it? We covered quite a few things on how to basically get started, install the SDK, and do all that. Now I will admit I did make a mistake. I forgot to show you guys how to set the game mode. That's something you have to set before you really export it. So I'm going to correct myself and show you guys that real quick. You're going to go to the top left, Windows, World Settings, and game mode override. Pick what the game mode you want. That's how you do it. So deathmatch game mode is for deathmatch. But anyway, so this is episode 3. So we're going to be covering a few things I've been getting a lot of questions on over in my little community. First things first is how do you spawn horses? So we're going to go over that. It's actually really easy. Probably take you 2 minutes. How to do fire, so torches and bigger fires like campfires like what I have right here. We're going to go over custom banners. That's been a huge one for people. So we're going to go over how to make your own custom banner and all that fun stuff. And as you can see, it comes in different shapes and sizes. So you got that, and we have a square one over here. So we'll go over that. And then lastly, how do you place weapons? Which, just to give you a little preview, so it looks something like this. Kind of weird, but is what it is. That's kind of the agenda for today. So we'll go ahead and get started with horse spawns. All right, so first things first, click on content. You're going to look up BP_horse, and you'll find horse spawner. First thing you should do is you should copy it over into your assets folder. So here in Cumin Camp, I copied it over already and named mine horse spawner _02. So if you click on these, kind of hard to click on. Kind of got to get close, and there we go. You'll notice that they're the horse spawners from my custom stuff. And basically, you put these down, and just make sure the red arrows which direction they're facing. You can kind of see this is the head, this is the body. And just make sure they're above ground so they don't get glitched. And if you put them a little too high, they spawn and drop down and all that. They're completely random, so. The manual does go over how to pick different classes and stuff, but I just kept mine completely random. It'll do any color of horse. It'll do for medium horses. It'll do any color on the banners and all that. But it'll be light, heavy, and medium. But yeah, so it's quite easy to do. Probably one of the simplest things in the game. So go ahead and do that. One other thing is. I got some questions why I kept spawning here when I was playtesting. I originally put down a actor spawn right there. I think that is man, what's that called? Spawn point? Spawn? Yeah, see, you gotta look into these. I'll probably go over how to do all that in another video. But you can put down spawners. I don't remember that. Embarrassingly enough, I don't remember the asset of it, but I'll touch on that later. That's not the scope of today's video. Anyway, so I showed you to do horse spawn, so let's cover fire next. Fire is pretty easy. You just gotta tweak it. So we'll go ahead, and first thing you're probably looking for is BP_torch. This is the original one. You can see I gave it a few different shots, like yikes on that one. This is the one I eventually came up with. Takes some time, but is what it is. So, copy it over. Copy it over, and basically, when you first copy it over, it's just gonna have static mesh and point light, right? And these lights can be incredibly bright. So we'll first go over the lights. You'll see it's in lumens, and it'll be set to about 1,000, which is incredibly high for a torch. I try to go below 200. 173 is pretty decent, but torches aren't exactly an efficient way of lighting a space, and you shouldn't have them feel like this mega beacon, for example. So it's in lumens and all that, and I did like around 175. Attenuation radius is how big do you want it? Around 600 is pretty decent for a torch. Keep in mind, this is how far it's going to go out if it's attached on a wall. So you might want to make that more like 800, but don't go crazy, because the larger your radii and all that fun stuff, the more lag it can possibly increase. Lighting is one of the most computer intensive aspects of Mordhau, so try to be aware of all that. And the last thing you're gonna do is you're gonna add the particle system. So it's BP, it's P underscore fire torch. And how to do that is you just go add component, go to particle system, and template. You do torch for this, and there you got that, right? Then you just pick that one, and you drag it in. I don't want to obviously do that because I already have it, but it'll spawn there, and I recommend putting it near the top. So here's my particle system. It's right near the top. That way it spawns about here, and it'll blow out with the wind, and it looks quite nice. So that's how you do torches, and we'll hop on over to the next little thing. So campfires. This is a pretty popular one because, for example, you can put it in forges, you can put it in fireplaces, and all that. All you really need to do is just create a general one. So I called mine fireplace fire. We'll look at that asset. All right, viewport is where you look at all your stuff. So this is what it is. To go over the assets for you guys before I show you how to make it. Tavern inside fire pit 02 in my case. Copy the tavern inside fire pit over to your own assets just in case. And that's how I did it. Now I'm slowly realizing going through this process you might not have to do that with every single asset because this is probably in the base game, but I just copied it over for good measure. But you can't do that with every asset. It gets a little weird. That's why playtesting is important. Next thing you're probably going to look for is a point light, right? I made the intensity low, to be blunt. I think even my torches are a bit too bright, but you want to keep it decently low. I didn't want to make a huge fire because even 91 it sounds really low, but it's quite effective in spaces. Shoot again for that less than 200 vibe, but it's all up to you. The light color, you can basically. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Let's try that again. The light color, basically what you do is you get the hex linear, just copy it from the torch we saw earlier, the torch's point light, and just paste it here. That way you don't have different color fires. And here I made the attenuation radius a little bit lower. It's outside, so it's going in all four directions. There's no wall to really block it. And I don't want to overload anyone's computer. So it's supposed to be just a small fire and pretty decent. So that's what you do. And the last thing obviously is the particle system. Again, kind of drag it to the top of your logs or whatever. And it's just P underscore fire. One other thing you do is, you can look up, there's fire, no light, which basically it'll show the particles, but doesn't generate any light if you're worried about FPS. But the way I have it set up, it works pretty fine. So again, just to add these components, you literally just do add component static mesh. Pick this, pick your tavern inside fire pit, add component point light, and then you adjust it. I put it near the top, and then add component particle system and P underscore fire. It's quite simple, so I'll go ahead and do that for you guys. Hopefully nothing breaks. I'm no expert. So first things first, to create a new blueprint, that's what I had to do for the fires. Blueprint, new empty blueprint class. Now we're going to select actor because that's just an object that can be placed or spawned in the world. That's what we're looking for. And you're going to pick where you save it. So Mordhau, maps, and pick your map and put it in the assets folder. We'll call it test fire. Click OK. And you'll get this orb here. Now sadly this orb shows up. I don't know how to get rid of it, so sorry on that one. But it's okay because basically add component, static mesh. We'll go ahead and look for that tavern fire here. Up differently. We'll look it up differently. Got the name. There he is. So M inside tavern fire pit. Go to, and you'll notice it's pretty big, so it covers up that orb. So you have it now. So next, let's add a point light. Right, and we're gonna drag it near the top. And again, intensity is way too high. You know, so if you want to do less than 200, like 150, right? Again, sounds pretty low, but again, fire is not very efficient at lighting places. If you're going for like a bonfire vibe, definitely make that higher and make it like 500 or something. Have a large attenuation radius. Speaking of attenuation radius, this is way too big. We'll try to scale it down. If you want, you can make it a little bigger. That that's 315. So decent. This thing in game is actually quite big, but you scale it, and with the transform tool. So click R and light color. So I told you guys how to do that. So click on the BP torch light color, for example. Copy this hex linear. Go over to test fire. Paste. Okay, there you go. So now you have the same fire. Intensity units, lumens, that's why. So you can see that it's quite bright. Very bright. And particle system. So you're gonna go ahead and just look up, fire. It's pretty straightforward. And you have the particle system, and just drag it kind of up a bit. And yeah, that should be good. And then you save it inside your own assets, and you're good to go. There's all the particle assets and all that stuff, and is all good to go. So yeah, we'll go ahead and save test fire, and then just look it up, test fire. Just drag it. So you notice mine's pretty big. You want to snap it to things, surface now. I guess that's not working. But so one of the things to make it bigger or smaller, you can do this, like for fireplaces or small little nooks and crannies, you can do that. But anyway, it's pretty straightforward. I already have one, so go ahead and so anyway, it's pretty straightforward. So that's how you do fire. So let's go to the next thing. It's a little complicated, but we'll get through it together. And that is, how do you make custom banners? That's probably one of the most requested things I've seen on the Discord and all that. You'll probably see me if you go on the Discord in recent time when I recorded this video, asking about how to do it. And I did, they helped me out, and I also figured out a few things and learned some things along the way. Well, first things first is you're going to look up a material for me. It's called Banner Atlas Material. It's this one right here, and you see I made a copy. So go ahead and make a copy over here. We'll rename this test banner, right? Okay, so here's test banner. So here basically how it works. It all really relies around this. You don't have to touch this because this is the ripples in your banner. The only thing you really gotta do is reference this thing right. So banner pattern divided. So you're gonna source, click on that spyglass, and you see I made a banner test, but basically is banner pattern divided. This is the file you're gonna want to edit in a way. So make a copy. So we'll duplicate. We'll call it banner pattern divided 1, whatever. And you can also play with this one too, with the frame if you really want to, but the process is the same. So I'm just going to go over the process. So you open up your new one, and definitely drag that into assets, of course. So you'd copy that over into your custom map assets, but by now you should know how to do that. We're going to focus on this. So here's the problem with this image right here. It's false. It has no alpha channel. And the way you get the invisibility is on the alpha channel right here. And to show you what that looks like, we'll go ahead and go back to my banner material that I created. There it is. and this is what it looks like at the end of what I'm going to show you how to do. Because you connect the alpha to the opacity mask, you set it to masked, and then you have your base color. And what that looks like is this. That's also, you see how it's in my assets? It looks like this. So it doesn't render anything with a checkerboard, which is what you want, right? Because you want these holes. You don't want this having black and all that fun stuff. You don't want a black square here. That's the problem I ran into and fought with for a long time. So how do you get the you can see it up here. It has alpha channel true. Well, how do you get that? Well, I'm going to show you how. I hope you guys have Photoshop. You can probably do it in GIMP and other things, but I use Photoshop because I get it for free from my school. So we'll go ahead and, of course, I just forgot for a second how to do it. I mean, pattern pin, banner pattern divided 1. Okay, and basically what you're going to do here is I'm being dumb. I just saw it. That's embarrassing. Because basically you can export it. Let's see here. It just oh man. See, this is a thing I deal with quite often. How do you export it? I remember it was being straightforward, and there we go. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Jeez. Asset actions export, right? And you just export it to whatever, and it's gonna save as a target file. All right, so we'll go ahead and find that. So I put it right here. Drag it over. So it opens up in Photoshop for me, a default application, and you'll see this first of all. We got to unlock this, and this is your file. So first things you're gonna do is you're gonna try to select all the black. Pretty good at doing that. And then what you got to do is select. Oops, sorry, wrong key. Hold Shift and select all the holes as best you can. Yeah, you can really, really zoom in there. And of course, I lean against my screen, so my audio is a little funky. We'll do that one. But yeah, you select all this stuff. Should we get that? And there you go. So I mean, that's a decent representation. And you go ahead and save selection, right? You're gonna call it alpha without typing it like that. There we go, alpha. And it's gonna be in channels. So you see it like that. Oh, I messed up because you actually do want it to look, well, your alpha channel to be inverted. My apologies. This is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna delete channel. That's fine. Right click. You're going to select inverse, and then we're going to save the selection. We'll call it alpha. And channels. Alpha. There we go. Because the game crops out the black. So that's how you save your alpha channel. That's how you create the alpha channel. And we'll go ahead and save that. And you want to select Targa, and you want to definitely make sure alpha channels is clicked there. We'll just go ahead and save that. Yeah, that's fine. We'll replace that. Make sure it's 32 bits per pixel. We'll click OK. All right. So let's go back to Unreal. Close out all this crap. No, I don't care. All right, and what we'll do is we'll go ahead and import our divided thing here. It imports it randomly. You can go ahead and drag it to your assets. We'll go ahead and move it, and it will be, yeah. So it's right here. So now you notice has alpha channel true, and that's great. That's great for us. So now you'll see the holes are unrendered, but it keeps the banner. So let's go ahead and go back to that test banner we created earlier, and let's start playing around. So let's get things all neat and orderly. All right, so first things first is we're gonna find our banner. So we're gonna hover over it, some queuing camp assets. All right, and you're gonna set this to masked overall. So click off that, there we go. Blend mode, masked. Unlocks the opacity mask, and then you just go ahead and go there. And what it should do is now you can see it is transparent, which is great for us. And there is one more thing you will need to edit. So let me go ahead and find it. So basically there's a filling parameter where it fills in, but we'll go ahead and save this. Oh, of course it freezes. There we go. So it'll autofill when it scales, and we want to turn that off. Let me go ahead and find that option. Oh yeah, it's in here. All right. Okay, here we go. So, padding color. Go ahead and make this 0. And it'll pad, when it's scaled up, it will pad it with this. And if you want, we can check our homework here and look up banner pattern in general. And just to show you my homework, there you go. So set the alpha to 0. Reason why is when you scale this really huge, as you can see I've done here, because it is quite sizable. If it's not the exact proportion, it will pad your scaling with black. You want to set the alpha to 0, keep the sRGB on. You want to set it to 0 so it pads it with transparency, aka it doesn't add anything. But that is how you make custom banners. So if you want to see how this looked real quick, we'll go ahead and put on our test banner. Oop, didn't mean to do that, sorry. Jesus, test banner. And there you go. So you can see the black's not there, and the poles are correct, and all that. And you can do this with any shape. Now, if you wanted to, let me just undo that so I don't edit my work too much. Yeah, you can do it with. Let's see if it works with the conic, right? So test banner. There you go. So it can be a little rough around the edges, but it looks pretty good. And trust me, it looks great in game. In Photoshop, you can see what I've done here. Let's get on this crap. So you can see what I've done. I made the custom banner of Qmania. So you can play with this all here. You can put whatever you want. So definitely have fun with it. Banners are definitely a fun addition to do. Now that was the longest section. I do apologize for my little gifs and gaffs there, but we'll just move on here. Last thing to do is we'll go ahead and add weapons. So this is the blacksmith shop, and on the table I got a whole bunch of weird looking things. And those are random equipment. So it's this blueprint right here. And I have them scattered all around, but let's say, I got a little arena here, right? And I want to just, put something there. It's really easy. So what you do is, Jesus, go away. It kind of starts at the bottom here, like below this orb. So trying to get them perfect is hard. But you basically go ahead and go to default. And this is where you look up your weapon. So spear, you got a spear. And that's it. I kid you not, it's that simple. So that's how you add weapons. So you can lean them against stuff. I put them in this weapon rack. You saw me put them on the table over here, or they're on this table too. It's very straightforward. But anyway, hopefully that wasn't too long, and that gave you a good, good information to go ahead and make your own custom assets there. And don't forget to set your game mode. Forgot to cover that in the first 2 episodes. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you in the next video.